60 years. Doctor Who has been a part of human culture for longer than many of us have been around. And while I got to the party late, I'm still quite honored to be a part of this fan base. Because even if there's something in a classic or modern series that you don't like, there's still so much to choose from. So really, it has a little bit of everything for everyone. So, let's kick off this look at the 60th anniversary with the Star Beast. After a quick monologue catching us up on the events which led Donna and the Doctor to where they are, we quickly meet the Noble family, or should I say the Temple family, or the Temple Noble family. Anywho, the Doctor quickly comes face to face with Donna. Thankfully, she doesn't remember him, and so hopefully won't burn. We find out that she's still with the cab driver. She's had a daughter, who we later find out is trans, and it's not thrown in your face, but it is put out there. So some of the conflicts and plot points might factor in, but honestly, unless I was told, I wouldn't have known. And we find out that Donna, for some reason, gave away all that money that the Doctor had set up for her, with the exception of getting the family a house, which they actually can't afford to upkeep. So, her husband's still driving people around. Donna just got fired from her last job for spilling coffee on a computer. And even Rose, their daughter, is taken to making plushies and sending them out there to ravenous customers, keeping all her stuff in this weird little shed, which has a strange resemblance to a TARDIS, but isn't quite as big on the inside as it is on the outside. Later, a rocket crash lands outside of London in a steel mill, only it doesn't actually crash. It landed at the very last second. And while everyone did see it, Donna was the exception. Always missing stuff. Oh well. Meanwhile, a kid from their neighborhood, who for some reason is called Fudge, discovers that the ship ejected an escape pod, and something came out of it. Rose, on her way back to their house, the Noble house, discovers the creature. A small, furry, cute, mogwai-like creature who goes by the name of the Meep. No gender-specific pronouns, they're just the Meep. And so Rose instantly relates, pouring her soul out to this creature, even though she just met it. Meanwhile, the Doctor, sporting a new sonic screwdriver, his previous one apparently was destroyed in a comic book. I just figured he upgraded it on the way to the present after stopping say hi to the Daleks. But yeah, He uses the screwdriver after sneaking into the crash site to examine the ship, which, as it turns out, has a very strange way of taking off. Something called a double blade or double dagger drive. File that little nugget away for later. Meanwhile, all chaos breaks loose at the Temple Noble residence because the Meep, after mistaking some of Rose's plushies for living creatures, ends up going into the house where Donna's mom, and Donna's husband all get to meet the Meep. And ultimately, the Doctor shows up after he chats with the new unit scientific advisor, Shelley, I believe her name is. She's in a wheelchair. And she's having to deal with her own problems with something coming out of the rocket after they managed to open it. And this weird blue, purple, pink mist hypnotizes Shelley's troops. Her name is either Shelley or Susie, I can't remember. I'll just call her Shelley. Luckily, she doesn't get taken over because, ironically, her disability saves her. She's stuck in a wheelchair and can't climb stairs. At least not without a lot of difficulty. Meanwhile, the kid named Fudge meets these two ice warrior-like aliens called the Roth, not Wrath, but Roth, who don't go after him, rather they're hunting the Meep. And they're all converging on the Noble Temple house. See, the Meep told their backstory as their people being cultivated for their pelts by the Roth. Then the fur trade was made illegal in the universe, so the Roth spitefully slaughtered a lot of them, with this Meep being the last. But eventually, when the Roth and both the hypnotized and unhypnotized unit soldiers converge and have a firefight, the Doctor has to use the screwdriver to generate a temporary shield to protect the nobles and get them out of the house using their connected attics, because they're on a block actually similar to my place. They go from attic to attic until they get to Mr. Cabby Husband's car, and amazingly the car isn't disabled by plasma bolts as it speeds away. And the Doctor makes a shocking discovery before they leave. He checks a dead unit soldier, only to find out he's just knocked out. So, after getting them all to safety, he calls forth a couple of Roth and puts the Meep on trial. The Roth have non-lethal plasma bolts, and the spaceship seems to have a drive system which will annihilate all of London, 9 million people, in order to take off. So we find out that the Meep is actually the villain, and the Roth are more like a less violent Jadoon. They were called when the living sun, similar to the episode entitled 42 and the episode about stories, seems the Meeps lived under the living sun and bathed in its light, and all went crazy when it went crazy, and became more like Daleks. And rather than surrender, they all offed themselves, except for one, who wants to restart the war. And so it kills the two Roth, takes the noble family hostage, and takes them to its ship, and is fully prepared to not only take out all of London by taking off, it's joking about which one of them to eat first. Because, yeah, that's one of the crimes of the Meeps. They ate intelligent species. So, the Doctor, now unable to help the nobles just yet, gets some unexpected help in return from Shelley. Turns out her wheelchair is tricked out with knockout darts and rocket-propelled grenades, and so she helps the nobles get to safety. All except for Donna, who wants to stay and help. In fact, that's why she gave away all her money. She had this niggling little voice in the back of her head saying, there's so many people who need help, and she could help. And it turns out she really can help in this situation. At first, the Doctor tries to make her just stand there, but when he's backed into a corner, literally, he uses code words to wake up her metacrisis. And so together they try to stop the Meep, but in a last-ditch effort, the Meep declares that not only will she get her ship going again, it having been mended by the steel mill workers. That's why she landed there, or it landed there. But it's going to have the soldiers that were taken over by the light from the mad sun. That's what the light was. Have the soldiers take out the Doctor and what's left of Donna. Only they snap out of it, and even Donna is not dead yet. Turns out the metacrisis awoke in both Donna and Rose. Turns out, technically being part Time Lord, Rose felt the need to change herself and choose her own name, and miraculously chose the name of the first modern companion. And also, the plushies that she's been making happen to bear a strong resemblance to creatures from the Doctor's adventures. And even the shed itself is like her TARDIS. So, Rose manages to outsmart the Meep and eject it from its ship so the Roth can capture it, so it can be put in prison for 10,000 years for its crimes, although it swears it'll escape and wreak vengeance. And there are others who are also coming that are gonna wreak havoc. But that's all hand-waved away. The Meep and the Roth leave, which leaves what to do with Donna and Rose. The metacrisis will still consume them if they don't do something. But it turns out all they have to do is let it go. Similar to how the Ninth Doctor let the power of the TARDIS's engine go back into itself. They release the energy and they're fine. They may have lost the Time Lord super smarts, some of it, but at least they're still alive, and Rose seems a little more sure of herself. Like that was the revelation she needed to snap out of it. So, the day is saved, and the Doctor even invites Donna to see the new TARDIS interior, which is like a combination of the first Doctor's TARDIS and the 11th Doctor's first TARDIS, which honestly isn't bad, although I do miss the more homey version of 12's TARDIS. Though I don't mind it being easier to see stuff. It even has a disco version with the round things forming the lights. And it has a coffee maker. Donna likes her coffee. So, while the family waits for Donna and the Doctor to finish reminiscing, Donna accidentally, on purpose, spills some coffee, which causes the TARDIS console to catch fire, the cloister bell to start ringing, and the TARDIS to fly off into who knows where. And next time, we'll see where. Until then, this is Mr. J signing out and reminding you, always remember where your towel is, especially if you're trying to find your way through the TARDIS corridors.